Next, I'd like to look at a different type of programming called structured text. Structured text is similar to C programming, actually more similar to Pascal programming for the Micro 810 PLC. I'd like to look at first some simple I/O. Have the output equal the input pin and some if-then statements. To start a structured text program, right-click on Programs and add a new structured text. That will give you this type of menu. First, let's look at a simple I/O. I want to have output 0 equal to input 0, output 1 is input 1. The structured text looks like this. Take the additional input 0 and copy it to output 0. Colon equals is Pascal for equals. Each line is terminated with a semicolon. And connected component workbench, that'd be typed as I/O. These are all the variables. I want output 0 is equal to input 0, semicolon. Output 1 is equal to input 1. Compile. And download. 30 seconds later, you've got your program. Here, output 0 equals input 0. Output 1 equals input 1. Next, let's look at an SR flip-flop. SR flip-flops with ladder logic has a set and reset button. In structured text, that's really an if statement. We say if I push the first or input 0, then output 0 becomes true. Once it's set, it will remain set until cleared. If I push button 1, then output 0 gets cleared. Otherwise, do nothing. That's an if statement. With the editor, that'd be typed in as if. That's a recognized word. If I/O digital input, if button 0, then output 0. Output 0 is a logic statement, so it's either true or false. If statements are ended with an end if, each instruction is ended with a semicolon. That's the set command. You kind of notice the colors. If it's a recognized keyword in Pascal, it gets turned pink. That'd be inputting the program for an SR flip-flop. Compiling and downloading. About 30 seconds later, you've got your program. This should be an SR flip-flop. Button 0 sets, stays on. Once set, nothing happens. Button 1 is clear. Okay, trying that again. Button 0 is set. You see it set. Button 1 is clear. Here's clear. Set. Clear. You can also do combinational logic with structured text. For example, if I want to display how many buttons are being pushed with the different lights indicating 1, 2, or 3 lights. Here, A or B or C is the blue light if any button's pushed. If 2 buttons are pushed, that's A and B, or A and C, or B and C, that's the green light. A, B, and C is the one you can't see, the yellow light. In structured text, I would just have ands and ors. There's another way. Since this is a microprocessor, I can just have a counter. Let's have the count equal to 0, and then just say if I hit button 0, I'm going to increment the count by 1. Likewise on button 1, button 2, button 3, and do a case statement. If one button was pushed, I'll turn on the red light. If 2 buttons are pushed, turn on the yellow light. 3 buttons are pushed, turn on the green light, and so on. That's also a perfectly valid program. To input that, I need to create a variable. So here I did a right-click, variable selector. I'm going to create a double integer called count, starting from 0. Skipping ahead, I input the if statements. If any button is pushed, increment the count by 1. And here's the case statement. If you want the structure, I can right-click over here, drag and drop, like that. Here's the format for a case statement. So if case equals 1, remember this is Pascal. Equals is comparison, colon equals is a sign. So if count is equal to 1, I'll do the following. Output 0 is false. After some typing, here's the code. Once I get the count, I would check on count. If count is 0, I'll turn off all the lights. 1, I'll turn on the blue light. 2, green light. 3, yellow light, otherwise turn on the red light. Compiling and downloading. Okay, I got an error statement. I forgot the then statements. It's if, then, and if. Adding the thens, compiling, and downloading. You can then check your code. If I click on Start Debugging, this will show what's happening inside the program. Where'd you go? There it is. Let's do a right-click, show variable monitoring. These are the different variables that are in there. Currently count is 0. As I push the buttons, I'm holding down one button's being pushed. Button 2 is still 1. Here's 2 buttons pushed, 3 buttons, 4 buttons. And you can see the lights turning on. There's 1 button, 2 buttons, 3 buttons, 4 buttons. That's kind of a style of structured text. Next we'll look at the blocks, up-down blocks, and then timer blocks.